Why is learning Danish hard? How did I pass the Danish PD3 exam in just 4 years of my stay in Denmark? These are the questions I'm going to cover in this video. Watch till the very end to know my journey. My name is Arun Prakash and I am a permanent resident in Denmark. I moved to Denmark 5 years ago for work. 2019, I traveled to Denmark. I wasn't really sure if I'm going to live in Denmark forever. I came as an expat with a job contract, so all I thought back in the days was to work hard, earn a good salary and settle back in India. Exactly 1 year after living in Denmark, my objectives, aspirations had a twist. I saw there is a lot of benefits both professionally and personally, so I started looking for ways to integrate into the Danish society. The first struggle every non-European who wished to integrate into Denmark had to face is having a work permit is not a sustainable solution, because the rules keep changing and there is no quick fix. A non-European can't live in Denmark for more than 6 months without a job/work permit. In order to stay in Denmark without worrying about job security, the gateway is a permanent residency. This is where non-Europeans really struggle. In order to get a permanent residency, one needs to pass the Danish language test. Seen from my experience, many expats face a huge problem not able to apply for permanent residency due to lack of Danish PD2 or PD3 qualification. So what is a PD2 and a PD3? These are different levels of Danish exam. PD3 is seen to be the most difficult exam and PD2 is a little bit easier exam to pass. Passing the PD3 exam will help you get PR in 4 years. This PD3 Danish exam, seen from my perspective, is hard and really long, tedious journey to pass and affects working professionals professionally and personally. You see, the actual problem expats struggle with is not the language itself, as Danish grammar is not that hard to master and a lot more easy as some of the words might align with English. Major challenge is mundtlig, communication with people. The way people listen and speak. Pronunciation is the most difficult part in Danish. Also, I have experienced that other Europeans such as Germans never had so much trouble writing Danish, as some words mean the same. Not all, but some. And the Europeans don't have such strange rules as the non-Europeans because of the strict immigration laws. It has been the case that most Europeans seem to focus on learning and not concerned very much about exams. Less stress as far as I have observed. And seen from a non-European's point of view, they seem Danish language as a way to get a PR in Denmark. Although I haven't faced struggle in the initial months, as my intention back in the days was to learn without thinking about getting a PR in mind, here is where everything really messed up. Once I started thinking about getting a PR and started to pay attention to the importance of passing the exam, my initial enthusiasm and joy of learning faded and I lacked motivation to learn. Started worrying about results and grades. All my language modules was adding more pressure, cause of concern, and I really couldn't focus on the journey and joy of learning a new language anymore. And in 2021, I made the biggest mistake ever. I started taking breaks. 3 months of break led to a 6 months break. Soon I almost forgot all of which I have learned. I felt like that is it. All my initial enthusiasm and joy and curiosity is no more. I felt like it was a huge mistake. I lost focus, motivation, and couldn't really get back on track. I was hoping for some miracle to happen. Nothing happened. This is where I struck gold. I had to go back and really find the root cause of the problem to find a solution than to contain the problem. I did a research why people struggle, which led to a series of reasons. So a typical person with a 9 to 5 job have the following situation. Struggling to learn Danish often happens because people with families and jobs don't have enough time for studies. They also lose motivation because in their working environment, everyone speaks English well. This includes Danish colleagues and other expats, as the common language for global projects is English. Since Danish isn't widely used outside Scandinavia and Danish people are good at English, the motivation to learn Danish goes down. This makes the language learning process seem less enjoyable. Recognizing this, I found a way to make learning Danish more engaging and relevant to my life. I had two options. Number one is to contain the problem, which is an immediate countermeasure to fix. So I tried taking one-to-one language sessions. It was very expensive. Costed me roughly around 1000 Danish kroners for 1 hour. Yes, you heard it right. I couldn't barely go and attend 5 sessions. But nevertheless, I didn't pay. My manager helped me with that. Ideal way to contain this problem is to take all 5 modules recommended by the Danish language schools, not to undermine the value of attending all the modules, step by step, and finish with good grades to apply for the PD3 exam within ideally 3 years. Although in reality this is very tedious and time consuming and one will go through a lot of emotional ride, this was where I stopped taking Danish classes. My immediate goal was to pass PD3 and nothing more. In my case, I was impatient and I had thought that going back to language schools can be tedious and can potentially delay my PR process. I chose to start with a containment plan instead of sticking to the normal regular process of going through the grind. I chose to focus on the Danish PD3 exam-centric approach and studied all previous year question papers. Focus on the exam patterns and trying to solve previous year question papers. Day in, day out, I had all my energy towards learning and becoming more aware about the pattern. It took me several months to get a grip of the exam structure. I used to spend at least an hour every day, including the weekends, to prepare for the Danish exam. It took me exactly 3 months to say that I was ready to take the Danish exam with some level of confidence. 2022 February and the exam was scheduled. I booked in advance, so I had roughly 3 months to prepare for. But wait, here is a twist. All my effort still wasn't enough to pass the exam. What really helped me is this, which brings us to number 2. Permanent solution for the problem. You see, I mentioned before that I lost focus on the process and having fun and leaned towards a more exam-centric approach. All I experienced was a lot of worry and I could see my energy and motivation drain. The personal approach I would highly recommend is finding a language buddy, someone who can help you on your journey, an accountable partner/partners. In my case, I had a bunch of buddies/accountable partners. You see, according to the human psychology, people commit to a goal normally don't end up achieving them. Well, some of them do, but the majority lose track. To fix this issue with consistency and commitment, finding an accountable partner can help them solve it. Partner who can both motivate you and have an eye on your progress. Someone who you can share your journey, your vulnerabilities and struggles. They really help you. Trust me. In my case, my accountable partners were mostly my colleagues, where I spent most of my time during the day. How did I find them? So I handpicked few people who are genuinely having time to support when needed, and colleagues who were equally interested. The next step was that I allocate time every single day to have coffee chats in Danish, frequently write to my accountable partners in Danish. As this grew, my process of language learning tended to focus more on joy of learning than just mere exam specific. Though I haven't been able to speak fluent Danish, I had huge improvements. My confidence grew over time and I can say that it was the best decision I have ever made. It's never too late to find an accountable partner. He or she can be someone who have been through similar PD3 exams. He or she could be your Danish colleague. Find them and know if they have the time and interest to commit to this. Remember that this should be your initiative and you cannot expect them to always push, because this is purely voluntary. I personally recommend my process if you have the time and energy to explore possibilities, as most of our cases are different, and me being single and I had less priorities back in 2021, I consider myself lucky. I have made a separate video about new Danish language exam and tips to prepare for the exam in 2024. Hope you had some value out of this video. Good luck if you're preparing for the Danish PD3 exam. See you in another video. Until then, have a good one.